Over the last year and a half, I've demonstrated well over 100 different ways to tie a tie. Some big, some small, some ridiculous, some gargantuan, and some quite frankly obscene. But the question I get asked the most often is which is the best tie knot in the world? So I've created a scientific methodology for determining the best tie knot in the world. As a man of science, I obviously have a white coat, so this gives me my credibility so that you'll believe anything that I say whilst wearing this scientific garb. So the scoring system for the best knot in the world goes as follows. Symmetry, score of 1 to 10. Ease of learning on a scale of 1 to 10. Size, scale of 1 to 10. Whether or not it's self-releasing, that's purely a 10 or a 0. And suitability on a score of 1 to 10. Now, suitability is whether or not a short man or a tall man or a large man or a man with a thin neck or a thick neck would equally suit the tie. So the more suitable it is, the more universal it is, the higher score out of 10 it receives. And I have here the top 5 results of my analysis. And the first knot, hiding in plain sight, is this one, the Trinity knot. So, very quickly, because I'm going to do all 5 for you today. It starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. We start with a pinch, 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 draw the thin end across, up the back and down to the right. We go underneath, up and back down the neck hole. Around the front, up the back and tuck it down the front. We're then going to draw that last blade, the front bit, back out slightly because we need that loop in a second. We then go around the back, up through that loop that we just created and pull it down at the back as you're feeding it through at the top. Now this scores a 35 out of a possible 50. Very symmetrical. However, ease of learning requires multiple trips around the back and quite a difficult one to learn, so it scores only a 4 for ease of learning. Size, it's a nice size, an 8 out of 10. It's not self-releasing, so it scores a 0. Suitability, it scores a 7. So in total, 35, a respectable 35 out of 50. In 4th place, we have the Pratt knot or the Shelby knot. Now, many people would have rated this a lot higher. However, according to my scientific scoring system, it only scored a 38 out of 50. This one, I'll demonstrate it in a second. What we've said is an 8 out of 10 for symmetry, clean triangular shape. Ease of learning, a 9 out of 10. There's only 3 moves to it. A 7 out of 10 for size. It's slightly smaller than the Windsor knot, but still structured. It's a self-releasing tie, and the suitability, it scores only a 4 for the suitability because it produces a very small knot and doesn't work very well with very thin, fine silk ties. So a 38 out of 50 for the Pratt knot. And as we know, it starts with the back of the tie facing forwards and the blade a little bit shorter than fingertip length. We're going wide end, under narrow, wide end down the neck hole, across the front, up the back and down the front. With the optional dimple should you desire. And there in 4th place is your Pratt knot with 38 points. Now only 3 knots scored over 40 points out of 50, and this was the first one. This is your full Windsor knot. Now, the full Windsor symmetry, 10 out of 10, as you'd expect. Perfectly balanced and an authoritative look. Ease of learning, 6 out of 10. Medium on the scale, takes practice, but follows a logical pattern. Size, 9 out of 10, large and commanding, ideal for widespread collars. Self-releasing, it's not, although this version is. Suitability, 8 out of 10, works for practically everybody. The Windsor, as we know, starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about fingertip length. So we start wide end over narrow, up the back, underneath, back down the neck hole, around the front, up the back, and down the front. And there we have your third place finisher, the Windsor knot. In second place, scoring an impressive 44 out of 50, is the humble 4 in hand. Now, what we've said about this is symmetry. Obviously, it's an asymmetrical knot, so it's going to lose a few points on the symmetry. It's a 7 out of 10 for symmetry. Asymmetrical, but in a stylish way. Ease of learning, 10 out of 10. It doesn't get much simpler than the 4 in hand. Size, 8, moderately small, but versatile. Self-releasing, 10 out of 10, effortless to undo. Suitability, 9 out of 10, works for practically everybody. So your 4 in hand starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade a little bit shorter than fingertip length. Now very simply, wide end over narrow, all the way around, up the back and down the front. And it's as simple as that. So there we have your second place finisher, the 4 in hand. And in first place, with an astonishing 47 points out of 50, the world champion and scientifically demonstrated as the world's best tie, we have the half Windsor. Now, what we've said about this is, in terms of symmetry, it's 9 out of 10. It's almost as symmetrical as a Windsor knot, but slightly more natural looking. Ease of learning, again, 9 out of 10. Easier than a full Windsor, but looks just as sharp. Size-wise, medium-sized, very versatile knot. Self-releasing, absolutely. Suitability, 10 out of 10. It's the best all-rounder. It suits everybody, from guys at 6'6" to 5'5". It suits everybody. Short guys, large guys, doesn't matter. Everybody suits the half Windsor. So, the half Windsor starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about fingertip length. And very simply, we're going left, right, centre, left, right, centre. Left, right, centre, down the neck hole. Left, right, centre, and tuck. So there we have, scientifically proven as the best tie knot in the world, the half Windsor. Now, what do you think? Do you agree with the top 5? Is there something that you would have liked to have seen in the top 5 that didn't make the cut? What do you think? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time. Take care.